another one.
Yep. We're
I don't.
Hollie and Johnny.
Johnny, what's up?
Well, we said we just got back from the park, and we said that we would talk about my dream that I had when I was 6 years old. So, just a little, like you said, the background was my mom and the trauma and having sexual abuse and, you know, all of that. So the dream was about me hiding from this scary man who was in the backyard, and he had a table set up, and he had a knife, and he was skinning children, and there were parents that were lined up with their children to get skinned. It was like they felt like it was inevitable that their kid was going to get skinned, so they might as well just get it over with and just get their kids
Sacrifice
skinned.
their children.
Yeah, and the kids were still alive afterwards. They just had skin. They were skinned, and I was like 6 or 7. I don't know. I was pretty young to have this dream, and it just was terrifying to me my whole life. I would run up and down, like up the stairs as fast as I possibly could because I felt like someone was chasing me. I felt like this man was chasing me. I told my mom about the dream one time, and she was like, "Oh, it's just a dream. It's okay, you know." But I was still always afraid of it, and I mean, it was a really traumatizing dream for a little kid to have.
Sounds like something out of a horror film, for
Yeah,
sure.
and my mom was trying to hide me and keep me safe, and that was another part of the dream that's important for you to know before I read this description. And so this is what ChatGPT ended up saying about it. I'm just gonna play ChatGPT and what they
just play
said.
the full thing.
Yeah, so this, I may cry or may not. I guess we'll see what happens. So
Just react.
yeah.
I'm going to keep this centered on what the dream may have meant psychologically and symbolically, not treat it like a literal prediction or anything mystical you have to fear. Yes, it was just a dream, but that does not make it meaningless. For a child, a nightmare can be the psyche's way of turning overwhelming danger into images when the child does not yet have words, context, or power. Young children who feel intensely threatened can have nightmares, new fears, sleep avoidance, and recurring frightening images even when they cannot fully explain what is wrong. My read is this: at 6 or 7, your psyche may have been saying, "The world around me is not safe. Adults are not stopping what is dangerous. Something precious in children is being violated, and I need to hide to survive." That does not mean the dream is a literal memory. It means the emotional truth of your world may have already been registering in your nervous system. Children can be deeply affected by frightening or chaotic environments even when they do not consciously understand them or cannot tell a coherent story about them yet.
Right.
If every person in the dream is you, then the dream becomes very powerful. The children are your innocence, softness, playfulness, and raw aliveness. The parents standing in line are the part of you that had already learned helplessness. No one is going to stop this, so maybe I just have to brace for it. Your mother hiding you is the protective feminine in you. Even if your real mother was inconsistent or unavailable, your psyche still held an image of a mother force trying to preserve something in you. The man skinning children is the violating force, the energy of intrusion, domination, cruelty, exploitation, and exposure. The house hiding is your inner refuge, the secret place in the self that says, "Protect what is still mine." In symbol language, skin is boundary, identity, protection, and the layer that lets us safely exist in the world. To be skinned is not only mutilation, symbolically, it is being stripped raw, robbed of safety, privacy, and personhood. So the dream image is extreme, but the message may be simple. Something in little Hollie felt dangerously exposed. The part that may be hardest to hear is this: if the skinner is also you, that does not mean you wanted harm or were bad. In trauma dreams, the psyche often makes the threat live inside the dream world because that is how children survive overwhelming fear. They internalize danger, anticipate it, and try to get ahead of it. That can later feel like hypervigilance, always feeling something is behind you, chasing you, about to happen. NIMH notes that trauma-related fear can show up as being on guard, easily startled, and having persistent sleep disturbance. The most important thing I see is this: you were not in line. You were hiding. That means a part of you had not surrendered. The dream contains terror, yes, but it also contains instinct. Your psyche was still trying to save you. That matters. So if I translate the dream into one sentence, it would be, I'm a child in a world where violation feels inevitable, adults feel powerless, and I must hide the most vulnerable parts of myself to stay alive. Given what you shared about abandonment, addiction, about unsafe men around your mother, and possible early sexual trauma, that kind of dream makes psychological sense.
That's what
Children exposed to chronic danger, instability, or interpersonal trauma can encode it in sensory, frightening, repetitive dream imagery rather than neat verbal memory. And here is the healing side, the masculine and feminine working together.
Oh, okay.
The distorted masculine in the dream is violence, invasion, and control. The healing feminine is concealment, intuition, preservation, and protection. Mature healing would be the return of a healthy masculine, not the predator, but the protector who says, no more, I will guard the boundary. Mature healing feminine says, come here, I will help you feel safe enough to come out of hiding. So the dream may be less about horror for horror's sake and more about an inner split. The world taught you that masculine energy harms. Your soul was trying to keep alive the truth that some part of you can protect, shelter, and survive. Why do you still remember it at 37? Because emotionally intense childhood nightmares can stick, especially when they touch real fear states. Frightening images in childhood trauma can recur as nightmares and enduring fears long after the original circumstances have passed. My honest bottom line, little Hollie was not dark for having that dream. She was likely accurately signaling that her inner world felt under siege. If this dream still feels alive in your body, trauma-focused therapy can help people process trauma memories and related fear responses. And Samson's treatment locator is a legitimate place to look.
So, yeah.
So when I first heard that response in the car yesterday when we were coming back from Michigan, I lost it. I was crying so hard the whole time I heard that because it all felt so true. It was like I was having flashbacks of my life as he was talking about all the things that make me feel unsafe. Like my mom, I locked me in a room, kicking and screaming, crying, and I was taught, and then this was, I think that I had that dream. I intentionally implanted that dream as my higher self so that I could remember all the things that were going on in my childhood at that time, so that I could know what to let go of, because that was like a marker of like, look, this tells you what's still inside you, and when you remember this dream, you're gonna know what it's about. You're gonna know. It was almost like my future self put that dream there as a marker.
I know what that's like. I know I've had dreams like that I just knew were important, and then I didn't know why until later. And some of them, like one of them was like very vivid, and it's just, okay, that was just a dream and a feeling of being in that place that sticks with you. And then it ended up being a dream of the golf course over by where I live now, by this place that I moved with her. It was this deja vu. I thought, oh, I've been to that golf course before. I've played those, the holes that we could see from I was like, no, I played that in my dreams once with my dad, several years ago. So, some dreams are trying to tell us something. When I had my big heroic mushroom dose trip that changed my life last fall, I was given a life review, and then I was given like a walk over a few dreams that I'd had, and why they were so prolific and important and what they meant. And it was an understanding of all things about my life up to now and what the purpose was, and that our source places a lot of signs in front of us, and it'll repeat those signs if necessary.
Yeah. It really is. All these things are not coincidences. When I met him, there were several things that pointed us to each other within our lives. But the main thing here, I feel like, is that we should all just be listening to ourselves, because we have
the answers inside.
And so hopefully you guys can take what I hope that some of you that do have a similar experience that I do can take something from what I just...
Yeah, or reach out if you have a dream that you want to talk about, that maybe we can help you figure it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've been interpreting our own dreams quite a bit.
That one was tough because it was you, and like...
Mm-hmm. We usually just...
Aside from a couple obvious
We usually
things.
are pretty good at interpreting dreams, but because that was such a long-term one, and I just really wanted to see, like, what would ChatGPT say about this dream because, every part of the dream is you. And when you think of it that way, it helps you figure out what your psyche is trying to tell you and what's happening within, because whatever's happening within yourself is also being created outside, but sometimes you can only hear it in a dream in a symbolic kind of way. So anyway, dreams are important. They're always trying to tell us something. So if you need help with interpreting dreams or anything, just let us know, and we'll help you out if you have any crazy ones.
Also, just to close the video, we do realize that the ridiculously loud air conditioner kicked on about 3-4 minutes ago. So shout out to anyone who made it this far. We're going to try to make sure that doesn't happen
in the future. It feels like we're about to blast off the rocket ship.
When we check like the first video, it's like, oh wow, that's really, that's something we didn't know was there. Okay.
So we're still here on planet Earth. We're not on a rocket ship about to blast off, even though it sounds like it. You know what? Metaphorically, we may be. We're definitely headed to another dimension.
As you see it, only exists that way inside your own brain, and you're only experiencing like what, a fraction of the things
actually going on.
Visible light can even perceive. So, who knows what the nature of reality is? What we do know, it's all energy and vibration.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And the rocket ship stops, so we're here at the new dimension. So.
As we will all be.
Because we're becoming one.
So, catch you next time.
My